Hey guys, Parfax here. Do I have a build for you today? I am so excited to bring you guys this build. You have absolutely no idea. So I've been working on a build, trying to do a PVE/PvP build. Something that you could run one set of gear, swap up a couple skills, and be able to go from PVE to PvP. I don't change my Mundus Stone. I don't change any of my gear. There is one piece of gear that you can get that'll be an upgrade. I'll tell that, and well, there's a lot of gear you can get to upgrade, but there's one specific piece of gear that I'll mention when it comes to my slots that you'll be able to slot in, and I'll give you kind of a couple options on that. Okay, so let's talk about the gear. So first I want to go over the champion point system. Just to let you know, this build does pretty decent DPS, right? And I'm not even close to maxed out. Look, I have 21 points here. Let's go into my tree. I have 50 points into here, which gives me the 40 points for the damage reduction because we got to play Cyrodiil. Not necessarily because this can't play Cyrodiil for this build because of the no proc set, but you could play this once they lift the no proc set. You know, we don't have min-maxed points. We do have a deadly aim here. We don't have a lot of these points that are absolutely min-maxed. We have only 15 points in here. We'll just go ahead and pump that up because we do have the extra points. But just look at the tree, it's not min-max. You're gonna want a few more of these. Backstabber's really good. You know, precision's obviously really good, but you're not gonna want the 50 points into here if you're just doing straight, you know, parsing. This isn't gonna reach 110k DPS. I am not min-max by any means. There's even a trait that you can swap out. It's just, this build is gonna do well enough PvE DPS, and it is going to shred in PvP. Let me tell you. Look, I don't even have Trap Beast morphed. Look at I don't even have it morphed. It's literally level 3, and this build rocks. So let's talk about the gear. If I sound excited, it is because I am. I've been working so hard to bring a build that is both good in PvE and PvP. I've wasted millions of gold in mats and upgraded materials. I have used a bunch of transmute crystals, and we have tried a bunch of different things to find the correct build, and I think we have done it. Okay, so first let's start with sort of the slightly interchangeable set, and that is Jack of Red Eagles. It is a crafted set. It gives you 2 things of weapon and spell damage. It gives you 1 thing at critical chance. Then it gives you a decent amount of weapon and spell power for your weapon skill abilities. Now, why do we run this? Because most of our skills on our bar are gonna be weapon and spell or weapon damage abilities. Now, you can swap this out for New Moon. I have some here. So you can go New Moon. So I have all purple bracers of the Red Eagle set, and it gives you quite a bit more weapon and spell damage than New Moon's, which is the reason why we're running it. We're only running a couple skills that aren't weapon abilities. So this is going to give you a little bit decent boost. And this also only increases the cost of your weapon skill abilities. So some of your other abilities, like especially when you get to the PvP side, like your cloak and your shade and, you know, a couple other abilities, they don't increase the cost of it like New Moon does, but almost all of your damage is hard hitting and it's from the weapon skill lines, and it absolutely shreds. Okay, so now that we got the Red Eagle done, let's talk about my other set, another set that people don't use, and that is Swamp Raiders. Now, originally, when I did my first clip, you're gonna see some of the clips in here, I actually wasn't running 5-piece Swamp Raiders, and when I originally tested the DPS to see if it was okay, I actually had 4 pieces of Swamp Raiders on. That tells you just how good this build's gonna be for your overall PvE and PvP damage. So we have the Swamp Raiders. We're running 3-piece jewelry. We are running the boots. We're running in the belt, and the belt is well fitted. And I'll kind of talk a little bit about my choices when it comes to traits. The traits are very flexible. If you want to just be straight damage, mainly high damage PvP, but also high damage PvE, but you're super squishy PvP, you're basically just want to go divines everything. But I do have 2 pieces of impen, 1 piece is well fitted, just a little well-rounded set. You can definitely squeeze out more damage if you go divines here and divines here, but we're doing a more well-rounded set. It's sort of up to you. It's going to be a little bit more damage, but you're going to be a little bit more squishy, and you're not going to have as much stamina when you dodge roll. Okay, now that we've talked about that, and you know, obviously I'm running a Red Eagles bow, and I'm running Sharpened. Now, you can run a couple different traits. Sharpened is not best in slot for PvE. You can run Precise, Precise is not going to help you that much at all in PvP. We're going for a well-rounded build, and you're going to see, I'm going to test this test dummy that has basically 100% penetration. I'm going to be able to hit him for true damage, and so that means my trait on this weapon's not even going to affect it, but it's still going to be pretty damn good DPS. It's crazy how good DPS this does for PvE and PvP. Now my back bar, well, we'll first talk about the two pieces. I am running 2 pieces of Balrogs and Veldrith. You can run a couple different things. If you want to do PvE, you can run maybe Veldrith, both pieces here. It'll help you clear a little faster. You can also run Slime Crawl. It's going to give you an extra just 5% bonus. That's actually a really, really good set. When I did this, I like a little bit of the weapon spell damage a little bit more, but it probably is a hair more DPS if you just go with the Slime Crawl. That's probably what I would suggest, but I don't have those in medium, so I wanted to do this instead. But this or 2-piece Slime Crawl or any really 2 1-pieces you want. This is why I love this build so much. It's so interchangeable. If I want to do PvE, I can go, pretty sure I have a Veldrith in here. Yeah, I got my Veldrith health. Bang. Now I'm clearing a lot faster, maybe doing a little bit less single target if my little spores that come out don't hit the target when I'm farther away. You know, it is what it is, but it's really flexible on that. But for PvP, I definitely like this setup, or Slime Crawl is really the 2 that I like the most. Okay, now let's talk about another piece that is pretty interchangeable, and that is the Master's Bow. So I am running this, and I'm testing it on PvE and PvP. I absolutely love this bow for PvP. We have the infused trait on there with the weapon and spell damage glyph. This set gives you 782 weapon damage when you put them with a poison arrow. And I love poison arrow, and on this build, you just absolutely shred it. You can execute people. I have it with the morph that you just execute, and when you hit them with it, if they're low health, 9 times out of 10, they're just going to die unless they're like fully defensed up. It's a ton of damage. It's great. It's absolutely amazing. So on the front bar, I am running a poison. I am running the damage stamina poison. You can run whatever poison you want here. If you want to go a little bit cheaper, you can just put like a stamina drain enchant on there, so you get a little bit of stamina back when you hit it. It is always my go-to enchant on your front bar because sustain is pretty good. This build doesn't lack sustain, but it's not like uber sustain. You're not gonna be able to like dodge roll infinitely. That's why we have a little bit of, we have 1 piece well fitted on here. You're not going to be able to sustain infinitely without a little bit of help, like shards and stuff like that, which you're gonna see on a test on me, but it is still pretty freaking insane. So let's talk about the bar for PvE. Now, as you can see, I don't even have the trap beast morphed, and this build still does insane damage. Obviously, you're gonna morph this, but for the sake of this video, just so you can see exactly how crazy this build is, you want to put that on there. Actually, that was not supposed to be on there. That we'll talk about in a second. We're gonna go Dawnbreaker for both. Realistically, our class abilities doesn't have a lot. You actually want to go for your front bar, which is this one. You're gonna want to go damage ultimate. Yes, I all slaughter your light and heavy attacks restore. Nope, it's this one. You're gonna want this on your front bar, and you're gonna want Dawnbreaker on your back bar. The reason why we want this on our front bar is because when we're going through clearing trash mobs, it's basically gonna give us some ultimate when we kill things. Pretty great. Gonna give us a big damage boost. It's pretty great ability. Okay, so here's gonna be our setup. We're running Trap Beast, which you can put this, really doesn't matter, on your front bar or back bar. You know what we'll actually do here is we're gonna swap these 2. So you're gonna have Acid Spray on your front bar, Lethal Arrow, and the Acid Spray is just gonna be sort of your spammable when it comes to AoE trash pulls. Your Lethal Arrow, now the reason why we're using Lethal Arrow is because we're using a Swamp Raider set. This is gonna boost this damage of it because it is a poison arrow. So we're doing a weapon ability, which is gonna give us the boost of the Red Eagle, and then we're using Swamp Raider, which is gonna increase the damage of this. You can kind of see where we're going. Now in PvP, it's gonna also apply Minor Defile, which reduces their healing received and health recovery by 8%. So it's a pretty big bonus. Then we're running Camouflage Hunter just for the passive. We're running an Execute just for basically the passive. If you're close enough, you can execute it, but you can swap this out for any fighter skill ability. You can put this on here just to get the passive to, where's it, Slayer, increase your weapon damage for fighter's skill ability. But we have pretty decent crit on here. We are running the Shadow Mundus Stone, which I will show you in a second. which is the reason why I put Killer's Blade on here, because of, I believe it is Executioner. Nope. Where is it at here? Yes, increase your weapon and spell critical rating by 438 for each assassin ability slotted. Gives us a little bit extra crit. And then obviously Relentless Focus is pretty insane. And then I already talked about the ultimate. Now back bar, now the only skill that all that matters on here is this one right here, Poison Injection. You want to make sure you have this on the bar with your Master's Bow, because when you swap to your back bar, you're going to light attack or heavy attack into a Poison Injection, and it's going to give you that huge damage bonus. Then we have Trap Beast in the back bar. We have Endless Hail. Now, the one thing you can swap out here is you can kind of put maybe like an assassin ability on here, or we can talk about a little bit other things. And then you can use Endless Hail with the Maelstrom Arena Bow. So you can swap that out for PvP. It is more damage than the Master's Bow, but we're just kind of going with a one complete setup. You can do that and it'll be just fine. Leeching Strikes, obviously for a little bit of sustain. Then we have Reaper's Mark to help with resistant shredding if your tank doesn't do it. Then also when the marked tank or the marked enemy dies, you heal, which doesn't matter in PvE much, but also gives you Major Berserk, increasing your damage done by 10% for 5 seconds. This portion of this ability scales off your max health. If this is pretty insane. You just put it on an enemy, it dies, you get a huge 10% damage bonus. We're not gonna be able to see that in my parse and stuff like that, but this skill's up great in PvE and PvP and is very underused, and it's absolutely insane. And then our damaging ultimate, we are using Dawnbreaker of Smiting because it's Dawnbreaker of Smiting, and for classes that, stamina classes especially, that don't have a ultimate, they just use this. Okay, before we go to PvP, let's do a little bit of a small parse here. So we got this up, back the camera up, and we're gonna go to, let me swap the right potions. Essence of Weapon Crit. On the side note, you should have this on every class. Go to Alchemy. We want to make sure we have 3 points into medicinal use because we want to have our potions up 100% of the time. This is going to be crucial for both builds, but you don't technically need to have it, but it is like something you want to get. It's not that expensive to get it, and it's only 3 points. This is just, you should have this on every character. Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and buff. We don't really need to do that, but we're gonna do it anyway. So we're gonna hit the potion, auto attack. Now. I didn't even use my ultimate, okay? So we've already screwed up this rotation, but watch. I've absolutely botched this rotation, right? Absolutely botched it. And we are sitting at almost 43,000 DPS. Look, it's 43,000 DPS. And I have completely botched. Look, Poison Injection's up. Look at this, 45,000 DPS. Pop the potion. I already screwed that up. Look, look how bad my absolute rotation is. Look at the DPS. Just look, like a lot of people don't even hit this DPS, and we're in a PvP/PvE build. Look, I'm just like, I mean, I can say I'm purposely screwing up the rotation, but it's not 100% true. But look at the DPS. Like for a PvP, like hit that 62,000. I'm not even at full range either. Let's just keep going back. We can even just sit here and do this. You just want to stay at max range. Doesn't get literally any easier than this. Get your potion up. We're not even gonna hit anything. We are just going to snipe. Use that ability. Look at this. We are keeping, look at the DPS. Like, that's really good DPS for not min-max traits, a mixed bag. This will be able to get you through absolutely most of the content. Screwing up the rotation, I can say purposely, but that is, look. I'm not even gonna attack, look. I mean, I just showed you, like, I just was like mindlessly clicking buttons and I'm getting basically 45,000 DPS in a PvP build. Like, that's just, if that doesn't tell you it's a well-rounded build. Now, like I said, you're not gonna hit the 110,000 DPS. I don't have my champion points min-maxed. I'm running 2 pieces of impen. I have well fitted on my boots. I am not full legendary. I'm running infused versus bloodthirsty. I'm running this poison trait, which is fine. I'm running a sharpened bow, and I'm still getting 45,000 DPS. Now, we've talked about PVE. We're already 15 minutes into this video. Let's swap to about the PvP, and we'll go over some clips. Oh, hold on. We gotta do this. And let's do this. Let's see if we got it all right here. Oh, I swapped all that. We should be good now. Yep. Make sure we got the gear still on. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so the PvP setup. So a few things have changed. We're still running, of course, Relentless Focus. We still have Camouflage Hunter. We still have Lethal Arrow on our bar. The front bar has changed by 3 skills. We now have Magnum Shot. We now have Summon or Shadow Image, and we now have Toxic Barrage. Now, Toxic Barrage you don't definitely have to use, but it actually is a fun ability that does scale off of both of our sets. It does a pretty insane amount of damage. Let's just go over here and I'll kind of show you how much damage this does. Let's buff up. I guess we don't necessarily need that. Let's auto attack, do that, and then we're gonna hit this. Look at that. That's insane damage. Like, now, you know, it's not good necessarily to just sit there and do absolutely nothing. So you really got to watch when you use this. That hit for 50,000. Let's go. You know, but it just shows you that does a lot of damage. Now, so we got here. That's pretty good. You don't have to use this. You can just put the Fighters Guild Dawnbreaker on here if you choose. It is a little bit better in certain situations, but we are running it on our back bar if you need to use it. Now, preferably you do want to use it on your front bar. You will do more damage with it on your front bar, but this is a great skill for those block tanks you can't get through, which is the reason why we have it on our bar. You'll run up to some people that when you'll set up on them and then they'll just sit there and hold block. Well, what you do in that case is you fully buff, you know, make sure you're fully buffed. You have your leeching strikes down, you have them marked, you hit them with a poison injection, make sure you have Relentless Focus up, you know, probably put down your Shadow Image, and then you hit them with a Toxic Barrage. You're gonna see some Toxic Barrage clips in here where I kill people with it. It's pretty insane. Just if you can not die, you don't use it all the time, right? This build, you're gonna try to stay away for as much as possible, so your ultimate's not nearly as important as other builds. But this just for those block tanks, this will just absolutely eat their stamina, and this will just do a lot of damage to them. It's pretty good ability. Not great in all cases, but in certain cases it's great, and if not, you use Dawnbreaker. And then Summon Shade or Summon Shadow Image, I always call it Summon Shade, is just great to getting out of jail. We are a squishy class. We are running almost all divines, so you really got to be slippery with it. Put it down before you can go into a fight. Like, you'll see a clip in here where I put my Shadow Image underneath like the steps. I go up there, I follow a guy up there, he runs into his entire team, I get the kill, and as I'm getting ready to die, I Shadow Image down and slip away. It's a great ability, and like I said, because we're running Red Eagle, stuff like this and stuff like your Shadow Image, Shadow Disguise, doesn't actually affect your resource cost, so it's really good for that over New Moon, in my opinion. So the only damaging abilities on our bar, we'll kind of address that would be affected by New Moon, are going to be your bow from Relentless Focus, which, mind you, is insane damage, so you don't really necessarily need the extra damage on it, and Dawnbreaker. Those are the only 2 abilities on our bar that are affected by it. And like I said, you really rely on your ultimate, and you do enough damage without having to bump up that. But as you see on that test dummy, I still did 50,000 with it. Okay, so that's kind of the front bar. Magnum Shot is the absolute superstar of this build. What you want to do is you want to kind of load up on your target, hit him with a poison injection with the mark on him. You're going to snipe, and as soon as you're done sniping, light attack into a Magnum Shot, and it's literally so much damage that a lot of classes just can't handle it. They're either dead or almost dead, and it's absolutely crazy amounts of burst damage on them. So back bar, again, we're having poison injection, we're having Reaper's Mark, we are going to have Resolving Vigor because we obviously need a heal, Leeching Strikes again, and Shadowy Disguise. Shadowy Disguise is an absolute must, which is the reason why this build works so good on the Nightblade versus other classes. I actually tried this exact build on a couple other classes and it didn't work nearly as well. But this build like really shines because of Shadowy Disguise, and especially that and Cloak. you can really be extra squishy and still get out of jail. Like, you're put yourself into a bad situation, you get jumped on by the Templar with Hrothgar, and you shadowy disguise away, and you run and say GG. Like, can't catch me. All right, so now that we've kind of talked about the skills, we've talked about the play style, let's talk a little bit about some other little minor things. I have 64 points in the stamina. If you feel you're a little bit squishy, you can maybe put 10 points in there, but I really like the 64 points. We do have enough health with our stuff here. We don't have any health on our gear, but we are still sitting at 2250. Actually, I do like to run the pack leader's bone broth. It's going to give us a little bit more of the stats. If you're running a little bit of sustain issues, and this is what I was running when I was parsing, so I would have gotten more damage if I went to the other one, but Artaeum's takeaway broth is really good. If you want to go super cheap, you can run, I don't have it on me, but there's the one that just gives you stamina and stamina resist, or stamina regen, especially for PVE, but you might want to put 10 points into health if you do that. This build is not necessarily super cheap to run because we are going to be running Essence of Weapon crit pots for PVE, and we're running Essence of Speed pots for PvP. Give us a little bit extra bonus. Now we are running bow, so we dodge roll, we still get that bonus, but we don't want to be dodge rolling all the time because it will absolutely eat our stamina up, which is the reason why we're running the speed. And then obviously the weapon crit, because we do not have a way to get our weapon damage bonus, the major brutality. The only way we have to do that is through these potions. Now, if you want to make this a super budget PvE build as well, and you can even do it as a PvP build, what you'd want to do is put any two-hander you like on your back bar, and then you would do poison injection, or you take away poison injection and you would just put the two-hander skill rally. That'll make this build super cheap, and it won't do nearly as amount of damage. You know, you are losing the whole, you know, master's bow, which I think is absolutely insane, but it's gonna be a lot cheaper. So if you're not really, you know, you don't have the master's bow, or you're not really feeling like spamming weapon potions and, you know, poisons, you can do without the poisons. You put a stamina glyph on the front, and then you put any two-hander you would like on the back bar. There's plenty of them. The best one would be, let me pull it up here. There, the Vaidstrom Maul. This is a great ability. You'd want infused more than likely, but it's kind of rough because you're not going to be auto attacking from a distance, but it's a huge weapon damage bonus whenever you'll stack up whenever you use your stamina abilities. It's really good. It gives you almost the amount of weapon damage as the two-handed or the bow, but it's kind of a little bit more awkward because you can't proc the infuse trait on it very well unless there's somebody in your face, which in this build you do not want people in your face. So it is what it is. If not, run any two-hander you'd like on there with either a defending trait if you don't plan on getting the infused trait on the back bar, and then if not the defending trait, you put like maybe like the stamina enchant on it. And then if you want to run that setup, then I would just put the weapon damage buff on your front bar to make sure you're getting that, because no matter what, you definitely want to make sure you have the increased weapon and spell damage on one of your bars, preferably your range. So like I said, if you're running a two-hander on your back bar, I would suggest doing like the stamina regen, maybe on that, and then with defending, and then maybe just do a sharpened with the weapon and spell damage inching on this one. You're not going to get as much, but you're still going to get some bonus from it, and it's still going to be pretty good. So I am a wood elf, as you can see here, and other races, basically any stamina race is good. Wood elf and Khajiit, or I'm sorry, not Khajiit. Yeah, Khajiit are the best because they do give like bonuses to stealth. I do get a decent amount of recovery. I get 258 just for being the wood elf, and I have the, where's it at? The increased movement speed by 5%, and your physical and spell penetration by 950. So it's a very good, well-rounded class. If you want to just pump that damage a little hard, maybe do Khajiit. But I think the wood elf is probably the best overall ability for it. But really, race doesn't matter that much. I prefer wood elf. You can do Khajiit. You could do dark elf. You could do, you know, even orc wouldn't be horrible. They do give you like a little bit of weapon and spell damage. So really any race, red guard would be fine, but I like the small, you know, jukey. Gives you everything you absolutely need for the build. Gives you, you know, penetration. It gives you movement, speed, stamina recovery, max stamina, and a little bit of disease and poison resistance. Okay, So that's the build. This has went way too long, I know, but this build was literally 2 builds in one. I hope you enjoyed. There's going to be PvP clips after this, and I really hope you enjoyed, because this took me a lot of time and effort to come up with a build that you can take into both PvE and PvP with just a couple setups. I talked a little bit about things you can change about it. I hope you enjoyed the clips. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the build. If you like these type of builds, let me know. I'm gonna probably have a new build coming up that is the budget builds. I've been working on that as well. That's been kind of giving me a little bit of trouble, because I want to make sure it's actually a good build and not just a build that I've thrown together, so that you guys can really rely on it. And yeah, so let me know. Let me know if you don't like it as well. If you don't like it, smash that dislike button and tell me in the comment section down below. Okay, thanks for watching. Everybody, have a nice day. Hope you enjoyed the build. I am super stoked for you guys to try out this build, because I love it. I'll be streaming on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday at least. And it starts at 8 p.m. Eastern time to at least midnight. I don't know if I've actually stopped at midnight once yet. It's been after that, I think, every single night. But that's what I've kind of locked into, mainly streaming ESO. We do have a little bit of Elion coming up. There's a closed beta, and I will be in that. Thursday, there will be a very long stream that I will have. I don't know if I'm going to do 1 super long stream or 2 like mid streams, but we'll be testing that out. I am in that closed beta. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, enjoy the PvP clips, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.